Birthright citizenship is bull, and I'm going to prove it. Welcome to the doghouse. So this obviously is a hot topic right now with so many of what Trump calls anchor babies. Basically, a pregnant foreigner steps 1 foot onto American soil, bam, that baby is a U.S. citizen, right? Let's find out, shall we? What they call the Birthright Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment reads, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. So you're born here, you're a citizen. Pretty cut and dry, right? Wrong. See this word and? It means there's something else required other than being born or naturalized here to be recognized as a U.S. citizen. But what does subject to the jurisdiction thereof mean? According to the only necessary to be born here argument, they use a term called jus soli, which means by right of soil. It's how Britain used to operate, so if you were born on British soil, you had full, unrenounceable citizenship. No matter where you were, they would come and get you if they had to. We didn't adopt that into our Constitution. As a matter of fact, we fought a terrible 8-year war at the muzzle of a cannon against the very idea that if you were born on British soil, you belonged to Britain. So where do we hear this word jurisdiction most often? From police, judges, courts. It means the extent to which we can reach to exert our authority. So if you're born or naturalized in the United States and subject to a criminal jurisdiction in case you commit a crime, you're a citizen, right? Wrong. We know exactly what the word jurisdiction means because the writer told us. So I'm going to start to pull quotes from when Senate was debating the 14th Amendment, and they clarify the word jurisdiction. This amendment, which I have offered, is simply declaratory of what I regard as the law of the land already, that every person born within the limits of the United States and subject to their jurisdiction is by virtue of natural law and national law a citizen of the United States. This will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens who belong to families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of persons. So that pretty much does it right there. No foreigners. I could stop the video right here, but I'm not gonna. Native American Indians born within the limits of the United States and who maintain their tribal relations are not, in a sense of this amendment, born subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, so they have a political bond to a government that isn't the United States. It is perfectly clear that the mere fact that a man is born in this country has not heretofore entitled him the right to exercise political power. So these guys are outright saying that even if you're born in the country, some people don't deserve the right to serve in politics. What is this in our Congress? The provision is that all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. That means subject to the complete jurisdiction thereof. What do we mean by subject to the jurisdiction of the United States? Not owing allegiance to anybody else. That is what it means. They had this conversation way back in the day. Not having allegiance to anybody else, Ilhan Omar. It cannot be said of any Indian who owes allegiance, partial allegiance if you please, to some other government that he is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. I have already replied to the suggestion as to Indians being subject to our jurisdiction. They are not subject to our jurisdiction in the sense of owing allegiance solely to the United States. They would not be embraced by this provision. Long story short, Native Americans became citizens under a statute adopted in 1925, but not by the 14th Amendment. Being born here simply wasn't enough, it required something else. But Native Americans were subject to the criminal jurisdiction of the United States because if they murdered somebody, they would then be tried in a U.S. criminal court. So that's obviously not what the word jurisdiction means here. Take the child of an ambassador. In one sense, the child is born in the U.S. and is subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. because if that child commits a murder or commits any other crime against the laws of the country, to a certain extent he is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, but not in every respect. So this child of an ambassador was born here, is allowed to be here, but hasn't declared and been granted permanent domicile. It's a contract between two parties. It doesn't matter if you sneak in and kick your feet up and eat all of Uncle Sam's chips. I do not presume that anyone will pretend to disguise the fact that the object of this session is simply to declare the Negroes shall be citizens of the United States. There can be no other object, So again, that was the whole purpose of the 14th Amendment. It was about giving state to recently freed slaves who were otherwise stateless. But these illegal immigrants, on the other hand, are not stateless by virtue of their parents. So I found what I think is the most beautiful description of jurisdiction in the Civil Rights Act of 1866. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled that all persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power, excluding Indians not taxed, are hereby declared to be citizens of the United States. Basically, slaves shall have the same right in every state and territory in the United States to make and enforce contracts, to sue, be parties, and give evidence, to inherit, purchase, lease, sell, hold, and convey real and personal property, and to full and equal benefit of all laws and proceedings for the security of person and property as it is enjoyed by a white citizen, and shall be subject to like punishment, pains, penalties, and to none other, any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom to the contrary notwithstanding. That last part is literally what it means to be an American. Not only are you covered by our laws now, but no regulation, no custom can stop you. It is notwithstanding. And to cheapen those words is beyond me, to be honest. So in summary, first you have to be born here or move here and assimilate. You have to be granted permanent domicile and recognized as a member of the United States, wherein you become subject to all these things, and only then are you considered to be under the jurisdiction of the United States. So if Maria Juan Valdez Cortez steps 1 foot over the line, has a baby, and still has a legal bond to a foreign power, especially as far as that power is aware, it voids a potential contract with the United States before the US even has a chance to agree for you to be here. Sorry to drop this on you, but Trump isn't reversing or overturning anything. He's simply observing what the actual law is in the first place. This Wong Kim Ark case, that is a landmark case and precedent for all to be granted citizenship ever since, just because of the concept of just Sully that CNN likes to throw around so much. They completely fail to tell you that his parents were granted permanent domicile, legal permanent resident alien status, and that's the reason, not because of where he was born, that he was considered a citizen. Because liberal, if you like what I do, please leave a like, they really help. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.
We've only got one shot at this, Barbara! Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!